Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you, everybody, for being here to my live. Thank you, Olive Beck. I always have trouble with your name. Oh yeah, it's true. Kabik. Kabik is my nickname I gave you. I sorry if I have. I always have trouble with people's names. And you guys, if you were at my premiere this morning, you'll hear me butcher quite a few names and words and so forth. So I apologize. But thank you for being here, Kabik. Thank you here to be here. JA Girls Reacts, and also, of course, Lisa J Stocks. Thank you for the three of you for being here, even if it's just for a moment or two, or if it's for the full live. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Definitely, if you guys can give me a like, a comment, all of that jazz, you guys know the drill. I would appreciate it, but it's not required, obviously. If all you can do right now is listen and watch, and that's it, I appreciate even the little things in life. So we're gonna get into my review of Knock at the Cabin. I'm sorry, I mistitled this live. I said Knock at the Door, when in reality that's a completely different movie. It's Knock at the Cabin by M. Night Shyamalan. So after my little intro video, I will get into talking about the movie and my review of it. So, yes, of course, guys, there will be spoiler alerts for this live as usual. You guys know the drill by now, hopefully. So I'm back, guys. Sorry for my voice as well. I'm still a little bit under the weather, so I'm doing my best here, but I'm mostly better. But I still probably will need a few more days and lots of water, which I highly recommend whether you're sick or not, is to drink a lot of water. But especially when you're sick, your body is in great need of that H2O. So definitely get it in there while you're sick, especially. That's my bad habit, is not drinking enough water. So every time I'm sick, I have to force myself and remind myself regularly, hey, get the liquid in, get the liquid in, get that H2O in. All right, so we won't take too much more delays. I'll try to keep this live at about half an hour, 45 minutes. As usual, guys, I try not to take too long in my lives. I don't really like having lives where I'm just doing nothing or barely anything. So I try to get to the point and just say what I have to say and move on as much as possible. Sometimes it is fun to just have just do whatever live, but most of the time I like to just get to the point. It's, I guess, the German part of me in my family. It's like, no, you need to be efficient. You need to get to the point. And then, of course, as you hear with me droning on right now, that's the Caribbean part of me that's like, yeah, just talk, talk, talk. Come on, let's go. All right, guys. So, Knock at the Cabin. What is this movie about? Well, basically, you have a couple of vacationing somewhere in the woods, right? And they bring along, of course, their young daughter named Wen. When all of a sudden, they're they're held hostage by four strangers, and these are strangers that are strangers to each other and to, of course, the vacationing family. Uh, then, of course, this couple, this family gets told, well, you guys will make the difference in the coming apocalypse, whether it's just going to be a series of disasters, or and you guys will save the planet, or you guys will not make the right choice and it's the end of the world. So, and you guys have to make this decision not in a year from now, not in 10 months, not in like, okay, in 5 years from now, that's what's going to happen. This is going to happen like now, like in a few hours. We're going to go from, okay, yeah, the planet isn't so great and fantastic, and yeah, there's bad things happening to. No, in a few hours, the world is not going to exist. And it's just going to be two of you, three of you roaming the planet. And that's it. Right. So they have to make a decision. What the bleep do you do? Okay. So I'm using this summary from Rotten Tomatoes. So that's why it's much more quicker. And I feel like, okay, they summarized it a lot better than I would have had because I would have drone down for half an hour, 45 minutes just on all this summary. Now, basically, there's a couple of actually well-known actors in this movie, and I was really surprised by one of them because one of them I did not make the connection to it, and that's my first both thing that I liked and thing that I disliked about the movie, right? You have Dave Bautista, who of course is a very well-known, famous actor. He was, of course, a former wrestler as well. So, he was, of course, the first one to be in the promos, and all eyes on him, and really you knew he was in the movie, right? And he's kind of a hard person to mistake for anything else but Dave Bautista. He's just obviously a larger than life person and character, and always plays in movies that person that's like, yeah, I'm here mostly for my physical intimidation of so he's like definitely a physical character. um so in this movie, I get that he's trying to act out of cast, right? He's usually typecast as, like I said, the big buff, tough guy that's there to intimidate people. While as in this movie, he's much more soft spoken, much more eloquent in what he says and how he presents himself. He's arrives to the cabin in a suit and so forth. um so you kind of know that he's much more trying to be like trying to do what like Arnold Schwarzenegger did in the movies like Junior and Twin and so forth, where he kind of is a little bit very, yes, he has the body he has, right? He kind of can't change it. But he still tries to say, I'm much more than just that body, right? That I can be thoughtful, I can uh, you know, go above and beyond that. So he tries. I don't think he really succeeded 100%. Like, there's a good effort, and it's not it's not like he didn't try to get out of that typecast, right? It's not like he was just sitting back there and, oh, la di da, I'll just do whatever. No, it's like he really tried to. And even his name in this movie is Leonard, which is not, you're not looking at that name like, oh my god, this is big and scary, and oh my god, it's a soft person name almost, like, I hate to say it, but it's really much more a laid back names for a laid back character. um but there's just something, like, I don't know, maybe it's me personally, um where it's he'll always be Batista, right? He'll always be a pro wrestler. It's like, I can't disassociate him from that. I can't disassociate him from Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like, that's, to me, that's the character that he is, right? That's who he is as a person. And I know that's not true, right? Obviously, guys, but like, like, there's those actors that you just can't disconnect from a character, right? To me, I've mentioned this, and I know this was also one of my questions that I had in my previous, live that I did was, can you disconnect an actor from their famous role or movie? A lot of people say, yeah, I can. For the most part, most movies, I can. I can do that. There's some, though, I just can't. Agent Smith actor, to me, he's Agent Smith no matter what. I know that's not truth. I know that he had that's other movies. He was in quite a few really famous movies, but for some reason, to me, he's Agent Smith all the time. And like I was, saying too, there's another well-known actor in this movie. Him, on the other hand, for some reason, he did a very good job of that disconnection where he played so much out of his character, out of that famous role that I'm like, I know that actor from somewhere, and I can't place my finger on it. And it is Rupert Grint. Yes, that's right. The redheaded Weasley boy from Harry Potter. He's in this movie. Um, and he plays the character Redman. Ironically, I'm not surprised that he has that name because he is a redhead naturally. Um, but in this movie, he does play a character that's very unhinged, very very different from his Harry Potter character, obviously. In this case, even though this it's not explained in the movie how, like, because in this movie the four characters, the four people that take the family hostage, they're saying to them that, look, we got visions of each other, of these natural disasters that are going to happen, of this apocalypse. That's why we're here, to prevent it from happening. And only you guys can, by choosing and the one thing I didn't say, obviously, and this is a spoiler alert, guys, is the choice is that one of the three in the family has to pass away in order for the apocalypse not to happen, right? So, of course, Redman, the Rupert Grint character, is really unhinged in this, and not really, like, accepting of the whole situation, and like, oh my god, is this can't be happening, why is it this, why is it that, da, 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 da. And it's he plays that really well in this movie. And like I said, to the point where I didn't even recognize him as the actor, as Rupert Grint. I did like It didn't dawn on me that it was him. Like, he just, oh yeah, he just looks familiar, right? So it was really, interesting to see that dichotomy where you have one well-known actor that's trying to not play a typecast and failing at it, but really getting close to succeeding. And the other character, really succeeded in not making it, like, no connection at all. He played something really outside of, like, especially in the Harry Potter movies, his character was very dorky and jealous, and oh no, I want to date this girl, and da 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 da. And in this movie, you're not seeing any of that. It's so disconnected from his, from his Harry Potter days, that, like, you're not making, like, even there's something about his look that is quite different. The other characters are, of course, Sabrina and Adrian, the two female hostage takers, I guess you could take or say. I don't know if that's the right expression or word. Um, and then you have Eric and Andrew, who are the parents. And yes, that's two men. And their adoptive daughter, obviously, Wen. Um, and you basically see all these characters, how they interact with each other. That's the other thing that I think, that overall it was okay. It was a good interaction with each other. Um, and I think that's the thing with M. Night Shyamalan movies, is that obviously he's known for that gotcha moment at the end of the movie, like, you weren't expecting this ending. Um, this ending, you get the ending that you expect to get. Okay, so I I see that potentially, that he could do sort of like a glass split, and that other movie, with what's his name, Bruce Willis, where there's two of them where you're not sure, like, you don't realize that it's a trilogy and that they're all three of them are going to be connected. I have a funny feeling that that's what he's going for with this, that it's going to integrate itself into other movies for some reason, that's going to be the twist ending, because this movie, you're expecting almost a twist ending, but it's like, no, no, you get the ending that you expect in this movie. You really are. So of course, of course, guys, I'm giving you guys a giveaway. A spoiler alerts here. One of them does sacrifice themselves to save the world. Okay. And this after, and that's what I was like really weird about the interactions is that um the four people that take the hostages, the way they present it, like they're trying to be like, oh my god, we're scared for what's happening. And they do um Rupert Grint's character Redmond, and I believe Adrian. I believe if it's not Adrian, it's Sabrina. They both pass away at the beginning of the movie. Well, near the middle more than anything else, at the hands of the other hostages. So at the hands of Redmond, it's at the hands of all three. Obviously, either Adrian or Sabrina. I can't remember which, but they die at the hands of the other three that are left. Sorry, the other two that are left. Um, and then Sabrina or Adrian, depending on who survived, uh, dies in a really weird way, like in an accident. Like she just it, guns involved. Let's just put it that way. Obviously, with YouTube, I have to be much more careful as to what I say. And Leonard also passes away. Okay, but all of their interactions all feel very forced and unnatural. Even with the hostages that they take, it always feels like they're not convinced about any of this. They say that they're convinced that, yeah, they really are going to, there is an end of the world that they're trying to prevent, right? And of course, one of the couples, one of them is obviously very much into believing that that the sacrifice is necessary, and the other is like, you can see almost at the beginning right away, once they're taken as hostages, that he believes it right away, almost, right? That, yeah, you know what, this is going on. One of the devices too that I see in the movie that I'm not too convinced about either, that wasn't that great, was of course that they show the media reports of some of these disasters, right? And you see Leonard, for example, constantly watching his clock, right, his watch, and it's always timed that, okay, now watch TV and you see these disasters happening, right? One of the disaster is planes just dropping from the sky, right? And I think that's the quote unquote last disaster before they're like told, like, look, this is the pivotal moment. You have to make your decision soon, like within a few minutes, or you're screwed. The world is screwed. Okay. And it kind of always felt forced that, like, because even one of the fathers, like, all a lot of this could be just taped, and like, how do we know that this is like live stuff that's happening, right? That this is really what's going on here, right? And I kind of, that's part of why also I think that this movie could also easily be leading into other movies where maybe we find out that these four were really part of a terrorist group and that this was all scripted and wasn't, a natural divine apocalypse that's happening. And oh, well, we have to have an Abrahamic intervention where somebody sacrifices themselves in order to stop something, right? So it's a movie where it is based on a book by the name "The Cabin at the End of the World" by Paul G. Tremblay. It kind of feels like, I didn't read the book. It kind of feels like the book uh, could have been a lot better done, and that, like, it really didn't portray the book very well, right? Um, and it felt like the book really was much more scary, much more suspenseful, right? And to me, that's really what's great about a good horror movies. Not that it's, bloody and lots of guts and gore, but that you're left wondering all the time. You're left on the balls of your feet, like, oh my god, what's going to happen, and you don't know what the next move is. And with this movie, all the internet interactions, the plot, everything was so predicted. So yeah, we all know what's going to happen, and part of it too is in the trailer that they kind of let you know a little bit that, hey, this is what's going to happen at this part of the movie, then that, then this, then that, da, 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 da. And unfortunately, that happens a lot with horror movies where obviously they want you to get in and tell you why. Well, you want to come in because, hey, this scary stuff is happening. But in this movie, it kind of gave away too much. So, like you couldn't be surprised by anything, right? Unfortunately. So overall, like I said, like I was really disappointed with this movie. It had a few good beats, a few good moments here and there in the movie, but overall, I could make do without this movie, honestly. I'm glad I paid a reduced price for this movie because overall I was really, really disappointed. Um, excuse me, guys. I'm just gonna blow my nose for a second. Okay, guys, I'll be right back in a half a second. Sorry, guys, I took a little bit longer. I was also might as well get some liquid in. Got some tea. Yes, I do drink tea. Nice warm tea. So yeah, so overall, like I said, I was really disappointed with this movie. I wouldn't recommend it too much. Although I did appreciate the fact that there was a very little amount of CGI used in this movie, because that's what oftentimes happens in a lot of these CGIs. In the horror movies, they use a lot of CGIs and bloody monsters and all that stuff. And it's really weird for things like when the planes fall, that of course that was CGI and things like that, where okay, I don't mind the CGI when it's, stuff like that, where okay, you're not going to actually make a plane fall down in the middle of a major city or something, right? So obviously that has to be done through CGI. So that kind of stuff I don't mind, right? Um, but like I said, it's this movie had so much potential, so much. It could have been a lot scarier and a lot more suspenseful than it was. At the end, it was really just another predictive horror movie, and it was like, oh, come on. Although I did like that they fact that as well that they didn't have any jump scares, like none of that, like that cat jumping out of the closet kind of trick. It was that was nice too. So, but yeah, overall, like I said, I have to say that I was fairly disappointed with this movie, and I think they could have done so much better overall with their movie. But like I said, I think it's intentional. I think they're leading into other movies and that this might tie into something else somewhere down the line, right? I'm not too sure how or why. I'm gonna guess, and it's just that a guess. Maybe tie into the village somehow, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, that's just a total guess. you know, I could be 50% chance of being right, 50% chance of being wrong, right? So I don't even know why I said the village. For some reason, maybe it's wishful thinking or something, but it could be a tie-in to that movie. But anyways, all right, guys. So it's about half an hour. So like I said, I won't do much more longer. Okay, so thank you guys for being here at my live. Hope you guys found it interesting and liked it. I will be ending within a few seconds here. But if you guys do have any suggestions of movie reviews, of art reviews or artists, etc., any other topics that you guys want me to cover, don't hesitate to say so and to leave it in the comments. My email is on my about page, so you guys can go and check that out. So you guys can always send me an email to let me know one way or the other. So I hope you guys have a great Saturday and a great weekend overall. And I hope that you guys are doing great. And thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. Thank you, Kabik, as well, for being here and at my premiere. And of course, thank you to JA Girl Reacts as well for being here and spending a few minutes with me. Because I know, especially Saturday morning, you guys could be doing anything other than hanging out with me and listening to me. So, thank you guys very much for being here. And I hope that you guys have a great weekend. And I hope that your day, your month, your year, your life is wonderful. All right, guys. So, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I might do a live tomorrow, maybe, but I haven't, set plans for it yet. But either way, I will see you guys in these YouTube streets. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.